What inspired you to start doing photography?
My uncle. I was away in Florida with my family, and my uncle is a photographer, not as his main career, but as like a hobby. And same for my granddad. And we both they had their cameras obviously with them while we were out there, and I got to play with them a bit. That was the first time I went. I got to play around with the cameras while we were at Disney and whatnot. And then for the second time that we went, because I'd shown interest the first time of taking pictures of things and stuff, they bought me this. Honestly, it was a piece of crap. A little digital camera that had. It was back in the days when the actual lens you could flip it to point at you to take selfies, rather than just turning the camera around. You just turn the actual physical front of it around. They bought me that just for little shots while we were out there and stuff. And I enjoyed taking pictures of things and just capturing moments, I suppose.
So how long have you been working with cameras?
7.5 years. At this point, it'll be 8 years this September. Since starting secondary school, basically. Because it was the September that I started secondary that was the second time I went to Florida. So technically then.
So over the years, do you feel like you've developed your own style?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, yeah. Yes and no. I wouldn't necessarily call it a style as such, but because I always strive to try and make things with landscapes, for example. I do try to make it look realistic, like it was what I was seeing. So I don't kind of, with landscapes at least, push the image in any way or take shots in a certain way that aren't. It's not a style instance I'm doing something different. It is very standard for landscape photography because I think that's a big part of landscape photography. It's showing that place as opposed to really doing anything specifically stylistic with it, if you know what I mean.
Have there been any major turning points in your career?
Joe coming up with the idea for Demons. I'd been getting into video, just vlogging and stuff on a channel that will never be seen by anybody ever, because holy hell was I bad at vlogging. I did vlogging. I tried it for a year. It didn't last a year. I lasted about 6 months doing daily vlogging, and God, that was awful. But no, just while we're doing all that, I was getting into video, playing with that, because I got, not long before that, I'd got my first DSLR, which had video features and previous cameras before it, where I could actually start to play with it. And I remember we were doing a vlog, me and Joe. We walked. It was during the summer, I think it was. We'd walked into town and we were doing a vlog. And on the way back from town, I remember him talking to me about this idea he had. It was a story that ran alongside Demons by Imagine Dragons. He got me to listen to that in one ear while he kind of had it in his ear as well and spoke the story out. So I could picture it while listening to the song, and he was like, wouldn't this be cool as a video? And I was like, why don't we just do it? So we did. That was kind of one of probably the major turning points, because that moved me out of just photography and now onto this, where I'm actually wanting to go into video production as a career.
So in terms of video production as a career, have you put anything in place to help develop this?
Hell of a lot of money. Far too much money, to be honest, in all fairness, for a 19-year-old to be spending on camera gear, but that's beside the point, No, it's... Obviously, I've been definitely lucky to have, people like my uncle and grandparents and stuff that are willing to buy me gear. They've helped me get to where I am, and, I wouldn't say gear is everything, but it certainly helps. But, I think a lot of people are like, okay, there's this £5,000, £10,000, £100,000 camera gear, and it's all amazing stuff, and there's a reason for it to exist. But if you're not working at a level where that's required, then I don't think it's worth spending the money on it. Any camera, any light, any tool is only worth it if you have a use for it. So, if you're just making daily vlogs, well, there's no point spending £50,000 on a red helium 8K that can shoot 8K raw at 60 frames a second and literally break a bank, and you need a mortgage to buy a camera, like, you may as well, you'd be better off with a little point and shoot. Like, bar gear, there isn't really anything I've necessarily put in place per se. Like, it's experience, it's doing stuff like working with that magician last year, doing promotional videos, making our own stuff. I think it's Quentin Tarantino said, you don't need to go to film school. You just need to pick up a camera and make films, which is definitely my methodology. It works for some people, and it's certainly a route, but it isn't a necessity anymore with the likes of YouTube and stuff like this. Over the past few years, me and Joe, with all the stuff we've been doing, now we brought other people on. RS is kind of something we've put in place for the future of our careers, I suppose.
So you mentioned RS there. How did Rudimentary Studios begin?
So it was Demons. It was when we started that, we were like, okay, we're wanting to make this narrative music video. Obviously, we're going to put up on YouTube. We need a channel. And it started, we only lasted on this channel for a year. It was called The Assassin's Temple. You can still find it if you go looking, obviously if you search it, but if you go on to the RS playlists and look at in the productions, you'll actually be able to find that, because Demons went out on that, and all the behind the scenes for that was out on that channel. So it still exists. We don't upload to it anymore, obviously, but it started as that. And then, as I say, we only lasted on that channel about a year, because about a year into it, we were like getting a bit more serious with it, and we thought, well, we need a bit more serious of a name than The Assassin's Temple. Like, it was just like a thing because we were really into Assassin's Creed and all that kind of stuff. So I remember we were at school and we were just chatting about like potential names and stuff, and we knew we wanted studios or something along those lines. We kind of settled with studios, and like back then our kit was basic as hell. Like, it was just a single DSLR. I think at that point I only had one lens still. It didn't have a mic. I was still using my first tripod. I wasn't even on like the decent photography tripod that I got. Like, the equipment was a 20 quid Manfrotto tripod, a DSLR, and one lens. That was it. So we're like, well, what is a good word around basic and stuff that sounds professional but shows what it is? And so we just we're flicking through synonyms of words like that and just came across Rudimentary, and we're like, that works.
So how do you promote this work then?
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We're on LinkedIn now. Website now, new. That's new. RS now has a website. I've redone my website. I did have a website that I built using one of Adobe's programs from mid last year. No, till mid last year, when the cheap deal I got ran out. And then I didn't have a website for a while, and then I've used Wix to create a new one for me personally and one for RS as well.
Have you encountered any major problems in your career?
Define major problems.
Well, anything that's kind of set back any projects or that you've had to overcome, kind of thing.
Do I want to mention Liberation?
You can, I guess.
Learn
from it.
I suppose we have mainly learned who to and who not to work with, but we'll not get into that too much. I suppose in any creative industry, any creative job, there's always going to be setbacks. I think the main one most people in these kind of works will kind of come across is, is this work good enough? Am I good enough to do this? All that kind of stuff. It's the confidence to do it. And you've got to be self-critical in this industry, I think, and that's why certain things have taken longer to make, and there has been setbacks. I mean, for example, when shooting Demons, the fight scene that we did in that took 4 attempts, because actors didn't turn up, so we ended up having to just carry on doing practice shoots because we got multiple people out there and stuff, so we had to not waste people's time. And or for example, the Liberation Project, which very much in the back burner at this point. That was technically the second iteration of it, and that really didn't get off the ground either. It's a difficult one. Hasn't really been any significant setbacks, I wouldn't say, but nothing in the creative industry is worth it without some setbacks and having to find ways around things, I suppose.
So do you feel like your passion's grown through your
career? Absolutely has grown. When I first played with a camera in Florida, it was like, oh, this is cool. This is something I might do as a hobby. And when I started landscapes for a lot of time, it was a hobby. I only started making money off of it probably about the same time I started doing video. There was a few years there where I was purely just travelling with my uncle and my granddad and going and taking photos of things, but I think, especially in the past few years, it's grown quite significantly since getting into video, because I found something that it's something that, at least in my opinion, that I'm good at. It's something that I can do. It's something I get a lot of enjoyment out of doing. It's not just on a singular I enjoy doing it because I'm okay at doing it basis. It's the social aspect of it. Photography is fun, but it's a single thing. It's, one person takes a picture, one person edits it, one person shares it. Whereas with filmmaking, I love, bringing the guys that we work with at RS together, bringing this team of people all with their own little spin on things and opinions and ways of viewing the world and skills, and bringing all this stuff together to make one big thing. It's something that I definitely fell in love with.
So in terms of plans for the future in your career, is there anything you can disclose here?
Is there anything I can disclose about my future? I mean, I can ask Barry Allen, but I have no idea, mate. I suppose long term, doing stuff at RS is definitely where I want my career to end up, doing this, having, it being a production company of studios, and we get to make our own stuff whenever we want and do corporate stuff on the side and have multiple camera people and multiple editors and multiple people doing multiple jobs and having a proper set of crews to create. I suppose that's end goal, but shorter term, I don't know. Wherever life takes me to end up at that, I suppose.
So finally, do you have any advice for anyone starting a career in photography?
Definitely what I said earlier. Pick up a camera and shoot. Whether it doesn't matter if it's your phone, if it's a 30 quid point and shoot, if it's a big DSLR, if it's a video camera, if it shoots film, if it shoots... Doesn't make it. Pick a camera up and shoot. Just shoot and shoot and shoot. Hone your skill. Find out what you like to shoot, what you don't like to shoot. Find out how you like to approach different subjects. I was regarding the having a style. That you asked before. It's finding what that is. Whether it is something simplistic like regarding the landscapes, where it isn't really stylized, it's kind of natural, or with narrative stuff where the style fits the project. But you've got to get out and shoot. You've got to get out and take photos or make films. Pull in your friends, drag them into it, kicking and screaming if you have to, and get them to agree to things. And because that's the only way you're ever going to really be able to progress. You can get as many, in my opinion at least, as many grades as you want over the years, but just the most important thing that in this industry is your skill, which, you do get skills. Don't get me wrong, I don't think film school, unis, any of these things are stopping you getting skills. It'll train you, and you happen to get a piece of paper at the end of it as well. But what is important is your skills, it's your style, because that is what gets you hired. You know, in 30 years' time, I won't be getting hired, assuming I'm still getting hired, I won't be getting hired because of what I got in my GCSEs, or what I got in my A-levels, or what I got in that. I'll be getting hired because people go, I like how this guy works, or I've heard good things about this person, or I've seen his stuff and I want that for my thing. That's the most important thing in a career like this. It's having your style, it's having the skills to get you those jobs so that you can get to where you want to be.